Hey, bingo, I love it.
There you
Uh,
go.
Good afternoon, Faces families. It's been a while since we've done one of these. Welcome back to a very special edition of Faces Friday. I'm Jacob Hackett. Today, as your children prepare to go back to school in just a few short weeks, COVID is still in the air. Parents are still concerned. So we thought, let's bring another back to school interview before the kids go back to school in September. Joining me today is Cathy Gonzalez. She is a paraprofessional in the EHT school district.
Hi, Jacob. Hi, everyone.
Thank you for being here, Cathy. My first question, tell people, how did you get your start in being a para in EHT? Well, how'd you get your start in education as a whole?
Oh, well, I have two boys who are diagnosed with autism in the autism spectrum. And since their diagnosis, I became a stay-at-home mom. I used to work at Atlantic Cape Community College as a job coach. And once my sons were diagnosed, I had to stay at home. But a couple of years ago, back in 2017, my oldest son, who has a lot of aggression and other issues, he needed more one-on-one from me. He was diagnosed with epilepsy, and once he was medicated with the right medications, he was stable enough that I was able to go back to work. So I started looking for something that was flexible enough to allow me to have sort of the same days off as the kids. And I came about the paraprofessional position at EHT. And since that's where my kids have attended since they were 3 years old, I applied, and they accepted me, which was great since I already had experience at home with my own kids. They were gracious enough to give me the job, and I've been doing it ever since, and it's been a great experience.
Yeah, yeah, and what helps for your sake, Cathy, is that not only your own kids at home, but they probably looked at your resume and they saw, okay, she was a job coach at ACCC. So that kind of falls under the category of being an aide at the same time. So they probably looked at that and thought, okay, she has experience as an aide. Let's hire her.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would believe so.
Yeah, as I said in the introduction, COVID is still out there. Tell us, what changes have you seen, from when you started? Tell people what age group you're primarily with.
Okay. I work with mostly kindergarten and first graders. It's a K-1 class. It's a mixed in classroom. And I started back on, like I said, in 2017. They're coming in from the preschool disabled program. And from the beginning, 2020 was really difficult. The transition, I mean, you're working with, of course, special need kids, all of range of disabilities, and we're mostly hands-on, and COVID was a very, very scary thing. And all I can tell you, it was that I was surrounded with amazing staff. The teachers at EHT took it upon themselves to, they're so creative. They're so creative. They went into, okay, not panic mode, because a lot of us were on panic mode, like, what do we do? How do we approach the children? And we quickly figured out that the more stable we were, the calmer we were, the more we brought ourselves down to, okay, let's breathe, the better the kids were. The teachers, of course, developed programs once we went into teaching online. Right away, we got to know Google Classroom. We developed programs. We divided the kids by para. Teachers will have their time. Para was, we as paras had one-on-one time. So we were constantly engaging online with them, doing our, tried to make, we kept our discrete trials as close to as possible as what we were doing in the classroom. So it wasn't, in the beginning, it was very scary approaching it, and slowly it just became easier and easier. And the kids actually looked forward to seeing us every day. So it was different, but we got through it. And now once we returned to school and the children started gradually coming back to school, and the policies were in, the mask had to be on at all times. That was also very difficult. These are little kids, so it's very difficult to keep your masks on. I mean, we as adults have an issue with
Oh
them.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
So you can just only imagine a little 5-year-old, why do I need this on? So that was very difficult. But the good thing is, we strive on repeating ourselves, on, maintaining a positive outlook, a positive, behavior, try to, reinforce it. And we just kept reinforcing and reinforcing in a gentle manner. A lot of the kids grasped it, they understood, okay, we have to keep these on. We would go through the rules, the germs, we have to wash our hands. And like I said, we're blessed in Davenport to have really good staff, a really caring staff. I'm sorry, my kids are on the background. You might hear them from time to time.
Oh,
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. They were, the staff was so willing, and the kids had a lot of one-on-one reinforcement. So that was, repetitive reinforcement, trying to keep, like I said, if you kept yourself in a good place, the kids would respond to it. We at Davenport sort of figured that out pretty quickly. So, and the teachers, like I said, are amazing. And if they were okay, the staff was okay, the kids were okay, and that's how it, and of course, keeping everybody informed, whether a child had the sniffles, whether, like we had to be very alert about, okay, is, symptoms that any of us would have, and report it to the nurse and things like that. Just, communication became a greater tool.
yeah, and it's funny you bring up communication, because I said to many people on these interviews, during COVID, when we were all home, communication almost became a lost art.
Yes, it did. And it was scary for kids that need that social aspect too. That's why we tried, as paras and teachers, to, make it as fun and as interesting as possible to get that time online with them when we were online. And and have them coming back to engage, because they need that engagement. And also in school, we also made sure that the kids would get that mask break. We would go outside, make sure that we were all out in the open, and they would get a little break with their masks, and be able to engage in some play and normalcy. So, but it was a very, very scary time. But like I mentioned before, it was a learning process, but it helps to have
professionals
with you that help you along the way.
Oh yeah, and we said, the kids you have are little, so they necessarily don't understand. Why do I have to wear a mask all day? And we know as adults it's very hard to breathe with a mask on.
Exactly.
as is. So
Yeah,
you can only imagine how hard it must be for a child
yeah.
to breathe with a mask on, especially if they don't understand why they are wearing one.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, we would always, we always try to also teach by example. Some kids also have that sensory issue where they don't like anything touching their face. So, we would start with trials, maybe a few seconds a day. Let's put this on. Let's see if we can, how long we could keep it on. And then gradually, you know, kept, adding a little more time as the kid got a little more used to the sensory, input. But I myself, my son Gabriel had a very huge issue in putting a mask on. And he was 17 when COVID hit. So it was very difficult for him. And it took us at the end of 2020 was when he finally put it on his own and kept it on throughout the entire bus ride. So, I mean, it's just, you can't give up. You got to just keep trying, keep trying, keep trying, at some point, hopefully, it'll stick.
Yeah, yeah. And like we said, you can only imagine for the kids you're working with, the sensory issues, your own child, let alone
Yes.
anything else. Talk about, because as we know, we'll never fully be out of COVID, but talk about, the differences, the panic mode year 2020 comparing to this year, because things are back to a more normal state.
Yes, I can let you know that the kids were so pleased. I mean, right now it's, I think, still optional for parents if they feel as though they want their children to keep their masks on, they are able to do so. But a lot of parents, I did notice, did opt, as I did myself, to let them be without the mask. It was sort of a celebration for a lot of the kids. You can even imagine, like, what? I can get to take this off? Really? I'm not going to get in trouble? Like,
Yeah,
no. So that was in itself like a beautiful, rejoicing event. We celebrated at school. So but some kids do still, wear them, which is fine and understandable. And so we just encourage that from them as well. But many do have opted, and it was kind of refreshing, honestly, like to start going back to that normalcy and start going back to getting a little bit closer, not 6 feet apart, and, being able to play with friends again, like at a more of a normal level, because before we
yeah,
had,
yeah,
we had to assign little areas for them to play with toys on their own, so everything could be disinfected afterwards. So the freedom to be able to engage in that play with a friend again, that, oh, it was really nice. Really,
yeah,
really nice.
yeah. I mean, I don't blame. Yeah, I mean, because they're little,
Yes.
they don't necessarily understand, and for the majority of this last school year, you had the freedoms to do that. And I only hope for children's sake that, it only gets better.
Yes, we all hope for that. Yes, me as well. We all do. I mean, we still are encouraged to stay vigilant. We are encouraged. We still keep cleaning all the surfaces like we did before, our toys. I know that teachers were very much into, making sure everything was disinfected and making sure everything was clean. Even though we have a cleaning staff, we were still wiping tables, making sure that everything was clean for the kids to come in the next day, because of course we all want to stay healthy. We don't want to keep spreading it. I mean, so but yeah, like all the safety procedures are still in line, and I think kind of like stuck in our heads. We still took time to have hand washing breaks and things like that, like that we still do.
Yeah, oh, yeah, which is very important. Now, tell us about your own children, because I heard you mention you have a 17-year-old.
Well, he was 17 in 2020. He's
Oh, right.
yeah. Gabriel is right now he'll be 20 in October. He's 19. He is on the diagnosed on the lower side of the spectrum. And so is my son Jory. Jory is just turned 18 years old. They're both in the autism low side of the spectrum. They have language, but it's not considered functional language. But they're doing fairly well. Jody just graduated actually from Egg Harbor Township High School. Yeah, and
Oh, wonderful.
yes, at 18, he graduated with his class. He was able to walk, which was a huge milestone that we were holding our hearts, but he was able to walk with his class and get his diploma. And now he is attending for the next 3 years until he's 21. He'll be attending Cape May Special Services.
Oh, good, Cape May. I've done some work with them down here. That's what I was wondering if you were going to go Cape May or Atlantic, but Cape May, that's a very good idea.
Yeah. Gabriel actually has been attending Cape May Special Services since I think he was in 6th grade. And Jody just started this year. But they've been doing really well. And he's been working over there in their little store that they have. He's attending the coffee shop, which, we're very proud of. And he's, learning some independence. He did that all summer. So we're excited now for the September to start and see how he does on his first full year.
Yeah, wonderful. I mean, Cape May is a wonderful district. I have nothing bad to say about them. I've worked with them for the past couple of years, doing some transition service work. So, a wonderful district in there, and they really do, for your kids' sake, want to help improve the quality, so they are on to the next steps of life.
Yes, that's where they're at right now. Dad and I are trying to take in as much as we can for the next few years, because we're reaching that line where adulthood comes in. So that's a very scary thought for us right now, because we're looking into, okay, so what happens after 21, after school is done and all that. So we're going through that transition in our mind.
Going through the motions, as they say.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't know. And I think COVID scared people like you would not believe, because I was at Atlantic County Special Services. My last year was 2020, right? And COVID hit. And I loved what I was doing in the building. COVID hit, and then you don't get to go back, and it's a whirlwind. So I'm happy to hear from parents like you that you're fully able to get what you need to get your kids off to the next steps of life.
Exactly. And my husband and I have been very, very lucky to have amazing staff and people around us who guided us through this process. And right now, Cape May Special Services is also helping with slowly helping us transition as well with both the boys, which is good, because you don't feel alone as a parent. I'm sorry, that's Jody.
Exactly. If you have the background of the school helping you, you're not alone.
Yeah.
You've got the teachers, you've got the aide, you've got everybody else.
Yeah.
As long as you have that ball in your court, I'll say you're good to go. So
Yeah.
yeah. Um any advice for parents going into transition, don't know what to do? What do I do? What do I
So
do?
round yourself, ask, ask, ask. There are teams in every school. There's people in every school. There's parents. If I don't, Faces, for example, is a great organization. When I have questions, I reach out to the moms. I reach out to Isabel. I reach out to Kim Goodman. So you surround yourself with parents, surround yourself, get to know the staff in the schools, get to know the teachers, your counselors, your case managers. They're there to help you. And don't think that you're annoying. Don't think that you are, being a pain in the butt. Be that pain in the butt as a parent. You have to be for your child, So ask the questions. That's what they're there for. And believe me, the ones that I've known, all the case managers, the teachers, they want to hear from the parents. They want to give that information out, so ask, make the phone calls, get yourself in there if you need to get yourself in there, and get answers to every single question, because if they don't know, they will find out. And
Yeah.
that's what I've done. I've been as a parent, that annoying parent that went and asked, hey, what do I do for this? What happens now? This is the situation. Don't be afraid of asking questions and knocking on doors. They will be answered, and use the people that are there for you in the schools, because that's what they're there for, and they want to give you that information. But unfortunately, they're not going to be knocking at your door letting you know. They can only do so much. But if you need to be that active advocate, for your child.
Exactly. And I've said this many, many times on these Faces interviews. You have to be the advocate. They will not hold your hand and say, well,
Exactly.
come on, let's walk down the street. No,
Yeah.
you have to be the one that is pushing, that is not essentially, that is the driving force.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. And in our end over here, my husband and I have been lucky enough that, we found great people in Egg Harbor Township. And we, from Dr. Bonnie Sebastian to, currently Jen Biddick over at the school. And we've been able to be guided and helped along the way. And we're blessed. We're very blessed. And and we're still going.
Yeah, you're still going. Friends, this is my ending message. Don't give up, please. Please, I know it's extremely difficult. You think you think you're ready to take your shoes off and throw in the towel. No, don't give up, because if you give up, you'll have to. And if and when you do start over again, you'll have to start all the way back to square one. Do you want that? Not necessarily.
Exactly.
Yes. Thank you, Cathy. What we can do is stop the recording. I'm going to tell you something that may be beneficial, Danielle.
Oh, sorry.